sleeplessly embracing butterflies and needles line my seamed up joint, in case I need it. In my stomach, on my heart, chainmail, hunger of the pine.
Hello and welcome to Croft for rounds 1 and 2 of the 750 Motor Club Sports 1000 series. Jumping straight in to my best qualifying lap here, just getting a really late turn in for the back straight to maximise that drive for the flying lap. Picking up a tiny bit of tow from Dan Close in front of me in the middle. Not too much, but enough to give us just a little bit of an edge. Looking for that braking marker into turn 1 on the brakes, down 2 gears. Looking for the apex, just missing it, but you don't want to clip that curb on the inside. A little bit loose on the exit, and now a bit of solid aero push here as we get close to Dan. Through the chicane now, taking an early upshift, both curbs right and left, and then out to the edge of the track. Could have gone a bit further through there, but not quite comfortable in the car yet. Not much pepping before, so through the kink now, looking for that braking point into tower just before the crest. Car getting a little bit loose on the way in, missing the apex. But not too bad as we're early on the throttle using all that track, and again just picking up a tiny bit of tow from Dan as we go into the S's. A little bit of aero push again, you'll see as we go through the right hander here. Car just washing out, using that curb on the left, really tentative with the track limits there through Barcroft into signing in, back end breaking away from me, but getting a nice early apex into that camber. Again a little bit tentative through there, early on the throttle, back end breaking away all the way out to that curb on the left, and now into the complex. Looking for that apex nice and early again, following the camber. Again, quite tentative, but clean. And then into the right hand, a good apex now. Car a little bit loose, just fighting through. And then finding that braking point for the hairpin. Very tight left-hander, lots of lock. Get that late apex really early on the throttle, great exit. And now a really good bit of slipstream to finish the lap off. Quite a short run to the line, but you know, could have given us a tenth or so, at the very least. We did manage a lap 1/10 faster, but I lost it for my own error going above track limits. It wouldn't have been enough for pole anyway. But a solid P2 there behind Ryan Yarrow for race 1 of this weekend's racing. And clearly, you know, a lot of work to do to get myself more comfortable with the car and to get the car a bit better set up for the conditions as well. With that in mind, we'll take a P2 and we'll move forwards into race 1 of 2 for the weekend.
It's the Lancang Tyre Sports 1000 Championship with the Atomic Racing Cup 200. The cars coming to the grid for what is going to be a 20-minute race for these motorcycle engine cars. On pole position, it is the number 54 car of reigning champion Ryan Yarrow. Next to him will be the number 24, Rich Miles. Both of them Inspires. On the second row of the grid, it's the first of the Mattels. That's the Intel MC53.
Okay, so here we are on the grid for race 1. 32nd board is out after a very long delay. Been sitting on the grid for quite some time. Adrenaline pumping. Just waiting for those lights. I do have in-car audio recording, as in voice recording. But the quality is quite poor, so we'll do a voiceover as well. Lights are out. Great start. A little bit of wheel spin, straight over to the inside, covering off Yarrow. And Dan close behind, taking that inside line into turn 1. There we go, not too bad. Struggling for grip, a lot of understeer. Obviously tyres are completely cold, brakes are cold. Just trying to get a feel for it through the chicane. They're quite tentative, but not too bad. Checking those mirrors. And just trying to focus now past the kink and to get a good break into tower. Get a good getaway down the S's. Again, quite tentative, but the car is struggling for grip at this stage in the race. Low tyre pressures and lack of heat. Still, we're going to go full throttle through the S's. Find those curbs on the inside. Nice and steady, and then through into Barcroft where I'd really been struggling. See the back end stepping out there. And into Sunny out. And just get nice and steady on the throttle in towards the complex and lap 1 in the lead. Some oil from the previous race going into the complex there. Also with no warm-up lap, we had no chance to feel for the grip, but it wasn't too bad. Nice wide line into the final hairpin on the gas. A little bit of wheel spin, not the ideal exit, but not too bad either. checking those mirrors, looking for my pit board on the left, and spotting that braking marker for turn 1. Try and get some distance between me and Ryan and Dan. Not too bad through the first complex there. You can still see me wrestling with the car here, bit of oversteer, mid-corner. But we're starting to commit more into the chicane now. Full throttle all the way through. Again, watching for that braking zone into tower. This crest was preposterously hard to get right. If you broke too early, you'd sort of understeer into the corner. If you broke too late, you'd look up the rears. Very difficult to get right, and something that I really did struggle to get correct throughout the weekend. Into Sunyon, quite steady, but then we've got Ryan Yarrow with an absolute lunge, and then unfortunately some fairly moderate contact there. And as you can hear by my whinging, I lost my front left end plate, and as such lost a little bit of front aero as well. Definitely a bit of a send from Ryan there, but there was a gap, he went for it. I was struggling into Sunyon for the majority of the weekend, and he capitalised on that. And the little coming together afterwards, it is what it is, it's racing. Obviously very frustrated in the cockpit, but in hindsight, these things happen. Ryan's a good racer, very clean. No issues with him at all. Sort of 50-50 I'd say, but I'm sure people have different opinions on that one. Anyway, back through the chicane now. Just trying to get my head straight. Quite a bit of understeer, as you can see through the exit chicane there. Just trying to feel where the car is, how much grip I've actually lost on the front end, and if I can find a way to drive around it. As you can see, going quite wide into tower here. And definitely struggling. I'm not sure what happened with the balance of the car after that contact, because the pace does start to come back to me in this race, but for the sort of first lap or two afterwards, it was a real struggle.
Got no grip at the front of
As you can hear there. So just working my way back into it, still behind Ryan. Dan in my mirrors somewhere behind me. Trying to carry the entry speed into the complex, but just still struggle with the understeer just a little bit. Just trying to...
everything I've got to maintain this. Now.
Yeah, as you can hear, the workings of my brain, pretty convinced that I wasn't going to be able to main second position for the remainder of the race, but we'll see how that pans out. Find that braking point for turn 1.
These things happen. I've got to just focus now.
That's it. Finding that zone, calming myself down, and trying to chase Ryan, who was absolutely rapid as per usual, throwing a few stones at me there. So again, looking for that braking point into tower, just worried that the car's understeering quite a lot. Again, deep, understeered in, oversteered out, on the dirt. It's all a bit ragged. It's not great on my end, but we'll keep working through the S's. Bit of a late gear change there, didn't get the best exit speed out of tower, and just pretty much out of control into Sunny in there through Croft. Car really fighting me all the way through as we go into the complex again now. So as you can hear there, struggling a bit with the braking as well. The car wasn't slowing down in the way that I wanted it to. Again, I think a lot of it is actually just the pressure's not coming to me yet. These Nankang AR1s do seem to take a little bit of time to fire up, especially if you go out on particularly low pressures. So still a bit of work to do there and figuring out how to best get those fired up for me in the race. But yeah, just getting head down now. I can see Ryan's not driving away from me, which is giving me a little bit of hope that maybe the damage isn't so bad that I can't still fight. Bit of dirt there. He's pushing it to the absolute limit through the chicane. I'm trying my best to chase him through it. Down the back straight, round the kink. Finding that braking spot. Struggling with the gearbox as well, to be honest. A little bit of an earlier apex. Gone wide again. I remember thinking to myself during the race, just how poorly I was taking tower. I think I must have hit the apex there about 3 times throughout the entirety of the race, which is quite poor. Just pushing to the edge of the track there, through Barcroft into Sunny, and again the back end stepping out, just trying to find that apex, the car rotating all the way around on the throttle as early as I can, maintain that radius, back on the throttle. I'm just trying my very best to catch up to Ryan. Good entry speed into the complex there, as Ryan's car just gets a bit unsettled, which is just going to give us a chance to close the gap a tiny bit as we come into this hairpin. Ryan's gone a little bit wide there, he'll get a good exit, but overall probably not the fastest way around the track. As we really start to focus in now as that gap starts to come down ever so slightly. 24.8, which isn't actually a bad lap time considering I thought I had some good front end. I mean, I did have front end damage with the missing end plate, but obviously it felt a lot worse in the car than probably what it was. So back on the throttle again, just trying to find that line through the chicane, on the throttle all the way through. Trying to pick up a little bit of slipstream now. And just tucking in, watching how Ryan's car handles through the different corners, seeing if there would be any opportunities to overtake if I was to close up. He's taking tower much better than me, nice apex there, he's on the throttle early. Very clean in an area where I was really struggling. Along the back straight, we've picked up 6th gear now before the second of the S's, which is ideal. Just talking to myself as we go through Sunny in and Sunny out, car rotating on the edge of grit. It's pretty sketchy through there, it has to be said, as we go into the complex once more.
Be careful, not to overdrive now. Just getting a bit ragged there.
That's it. So realising that I'm starting to overdrive, talking myself back down from it and just seeing if I can actually focus in now. Close that gap, which has opened up again to be honest. So I started to close the gap, opened up once more. Just checking the pit board on the left there to see how far behind Dan was. I knew I had a little bit of breathing space now. Nice entry into turn 1 actually, a bit greedy on the curb on the inside, but actually fairly fast. A 24.7 last time round. It's actually fairly reasonable. Not as fast as we want to be, but it's keeping me in the hunt. Once again, into tower. Can I find an apex this time? Let's see. Ah, not too bad. Still missed the apex, but I'd say that was the best I'd made of it throughout the race, up to that point. So again, through the S's on the back of the track, really fast this section. Very sketchy, at least in my car. Braking into Barcroft, into Sunny in. Just finding that apex, the car just fighting, but quite well balanced. Turning into Sunny out on the power nice and early, taking that gear up to the curb. You really don't want to drop a wheel off the left of that curb, it is very steep. Easily peel a rim. As Ryan just goes a little bit wide there into the first part of the complex.
I've definitely got pace around this back section.
I'm starting to figure out that I've actually got enough pace to catch back up to Ryan here. Although I know that getting past him is going to be a complete different story. Very difficult track to overtake on, and Ryan, a very experienced racer, he's not going to be leaving any gaps for me to squeeze through. So something for me to figure out as the race goes on. Find that break point into turn 1. Just tucking, just starting to get that dirty air now. Once you get to this sort of distance, you really do feel it in these sports prototype cars as the downforce gets taken away from you. Just adds a little bit of push to the car, bit of turbulence as well in the helmet. Find that braking point for tower once more. Actually found an apex again this time, much better, a little bit leery on the exit, but actually not the worst drive I've had out of there. And we're now nice and close behind Ryan.
Maintain. Grip. Sunny in. He's gone a bit wide.
Can hear me struggling in the aero pushing, just pushing as hard as I could. I was really trying.
See if we can get a mistake out of him.
As you can see, trying to see if I could pressure Ryan into a mistake, but then making a mistake myself and getting a bit hot into the hairpin. So played myself a little bit there. It's on to brakes into turn 1. Ryan's gone wide.
Try and get some pressure on.
But he's alright. He's looking fairly clean. So we're tucked back in behind him. Just a little chink there. Wondering what's going on. Through the dirt we both go. And once more into tower. Really close in the slipstream this time round. So just trying to get the front of my car into Ryan's mirrors there. Not committing to a move. We're just letting him know that I'm there. As we get a wheel on the grass, which could have ended quite badly for me, but it was alright in the end. Once more into Croft, this time in the dirty air. And getting into sunny in. I'm just noticing we've got a Cup 200 car just up ahead of us as we start to make progress towards him. And looking at the top left there, we did a 24.38 on lap 8 as I was chasing Ryan down, which ended up being the fastest lap of the weekend, I believe, in our class. So not too bad. Good protection there as we squeezed past the 200. He was very generous to us there, gave us plenty of room to get through. Yeah, not too bad on the lap times, especially with the damage to the front end. So you know, something to keep working towards as we continue to hunt down Ryan into turn 1. A little bit loose over the curb on the left, just brushing the gravel. And yeah, just noticing there as well that as I hit the curb on the left, definitely appeared to be a bit of clutch slip as we both take a bit of dirt with us. So something you'll notice if you listen to the audio throughout the race, there definitely is something going on with the clutch. Whether it's slipping or something else, still not sure. So something for us to work on before the next round at Silverstone as we continue to chase Ryan. And really intense this race. You know, the pace Ryan was setting was hot and having to focus to chase.
Cars are ready. Braking loose, having it put into the corner.
And just commentating on how loose the car was. It did progressively start losing grip as the race went on, especially on the rear. So we just squeeze up this side again. Very kind driving there, letting us both through without getting in the way at all. As we move towards the hairpin to begin another lap. A little bit wide from Ryan there, but again I've cooked it a bit and cost myself the exit. I'm just feeling that little bit of slip or something on the clutch as we come out of the hairpin. A little bit of a gap opened up towards Ryan, finding that braking zone, getting turned in. A little bit of rotation on the way and clipping the curb all the way to the left. And then trying to roll the car. And just telling myself, get your eggs in order, mate. Focus, stop making mistakes. As Ryan throws a bunch of stones at my helmet. Let's see what we can do. So again, picking up just a tiny bit of slipstream on the brakes into tower. Car just naturally rotating to the right on its own there as it loosens up on the rear. Ryan going wide as well, so my mistake hasn't cost me too much. As we get some blue flags for the next slower class car up ahead into Croft.
Claustrophobic. So we're both compromised.
So me and Ryan both getting through there. Both losing a bit of time, so fairly balanced. As we really start to close the gap now into the complex. Trying to find the apex on the right hand corner. Going a little bit wide though, and then a bit of oversteer. Just that dirty air just takes a bit of grip off your tyres. Good exit this time. On the throttle and trying to tuck into that slipstream as we start another lap. Approaching turn 1 now, just looking for that braking point. Finding the brakes, trying to get turned in. Ryan's gone wide.
Following Ryan in there.
I followed him in, but he's continued to go wide. And yeah, if you could see his front right wheel there, he took a bit of a curb hit earlier on and completely dislodged his wheel. And unfortunately on this lap it let go. So, through into the lead. At the time, although you could see it on the camera, I didn't actually know what had happened. I thought he'd just run wide. I wasn't aware that he was actually struggling with a broken car at this stage. So in my head, it was now just time to push. Just push, push, push. Because he's going to be coming straight back at me. So head down, full focus.
Try not to bin it. Good idea as well, Reece, wouldn't it?
As we almost launch it off the track into Sunny Inn. Not the best way to take the lead, is it?
Well, I'm definitely losing grip.
And now just working our way through the back markers, constantly checking the mirror, looking for that yellow on Ryan's car. Where is he? Not much of a gap here. Lost the back a little bit, trying not to make any contact. A little bit of a power slide there. Slightly argy-bargy. But we've got through clean. And just really trying to break a gap to Ryan at this stage. Just trying to get up the gears as well. Back on the throttle. Another back marker to squeeze past. Just watching out because you do really pick up dirty air in these cars, and as you'll see from my speed through here, struggling to get the car to turn, but we'll tuck into the toe. Again, struggling to get up the box for some reason. Find that braking zone into tower. Checking those mirrors. Where's Ryan? Where's Dan? Where is everyone? I'm just trying to work my way through any traffic. Stay focused. Don't bin the lead, essentially.
Relax. Sunny Inn.
Yellow flags there, so just telling myself to relax, back off. Waiting for the greens, back on power. Past the hazard and into the complex once more. Nice and clean. Find that apex. Car rotating a bit, going a little bit wide. Not too bad. Try and get some rotation there. Plan your steering lock. Missed the apex. But again, not too bad. And beginning another lap. Into yellows here. And greens again. There's a few cars struggling to find grip, like we all were. And obviously, you know, racing incidents happening. Just scooting through the chicane there, getting loose on the exit. Bit more traffic up ahead. Surely we're near the end of the race now, I'm thinking to myself. Just trying to stay focused, trying to stay composed. Starting to realise now that Ryan isn't behind me, even with the traffic. He's not behind me anymore, or at least not as close as he would be normally. So relaxing just a little bit more now, realising that I've actually got some space to breathe, and that he's clearly had
Cautious of the closing speed here.
a problem with his car. As the Cup 200 car very nicely stays to the left for me, so we can tuck in here. And behind a couple of Sports 1000 cars now who are battling it out. There's something you have to watch out for, you know. Obviously you're coming through in the lead, but if these guys are, you know, battling for a position, they don't need to get out of my way. You know, if they're battling, they're battling. So it's just trying to find that balance of trying to get through, not getting held up too much, but also try not to ruin their races as well.
Back marker to him. Deep in battle. This is going to be a bit of a problem.
And also just getting that free aero push as well, for good measure. But right, we get a good exit here. Tucked right onto the back of this spire. Down the straight, we've got a missile just ahead. Blue flag's being waved. He's going to stay to the inside. Obviously, you know, he is fighting for position with that red spire. Getting very loose on the brakes there. You know, he's pushing it right to the limit. Corner where I've been struggling as well. And I'm just hoping he's seen me here, and he has. He just backs off a little bit, lets me take the apex, and I can get through nice and clean. And almost go skating off the road.
Sunny Inn. Get into that apex.
Another Cup 200, very kindly, just staying to the left for me there. Make it nice and easy to get past. Keeping it as clean as we can.
On an apex, just about.
Round to the hairpin. That's it, we get it in, nice and clean. A little bit of power slide on the exit. And that's going to be us. Checkered flag and a cheeky win.
Get out. That was stressful. That was really fucking stressful. Sorry for the swearing.
So, race 1 completed. Very fortunate. We were applying really good pressure to Ryan. Good pace overall. But in the end, the mechanical failure is what's handed the race to us. I think Ryan finished 3rd on the road, but the race went on for too long. So they brought the race back by 1 lap. So that's the 2nd place for Ryan, 1st place for me. And I believe, unfortunately, Dan had a clutch issue, so he retired from the race quite early on. But yeah, race 1 done. Feeling good. Still struggling with the car, but on to race 2. So here we are on the grid. 5-second board is out. The heart is pumping, waiting for the lights. On pole this time, courtesy of the fastest lap in race 1. And lights are out. Again, not a bad start. A little bit of wheel spin, but nice and smooth. Didn't get bogged down. Checking my mirrors. Got the inside line here. Ryan alongside me. Taking that apex. Defending the lead. And around. Getting towards the chicane for the first time. Very slippy. Limited grip. No warm-up lap in these cars, so tyres are ice cold. Let's go over the chicane, clipping both those curbs and trying to maximise our speed down the back straight towards Tower. So looking for that braking point once again. Cold tyres, cold brakes, over the crest. A little bit of oversteer on the way in, but a good apex on the power. Just fighting the car a little bit. Feeling a real lack of rear grip at the moment. And into the S's. Slippery surface flag. Look at that, we have got away with that by the skin of our teeth. Obviously a bit of oil there from a race before us. But with Ryan behind me, nothing but full commitment. And luckily he's not got me into sunny in this time round. But we're gunning for it this time. We're really pushing. I know Ryan's going to be absolutely on me. So I've got no alternative but to just get moving. Nice apex there. A bit of dust on the track. And a bit of over-rotation on the way in to the latter part of the complex here. Finding our way in towards the hairpin, just watching those mirrors, conscious that the racing line here does leave you completely open for an overtake. So back on the throttle, lap 1 down, still in the lead, in towards turn 1 with Ryan absolutely up my arse. So good entry speed into turn 1 here. Just waiting for that rotation on the car, a little bit of throttle. Struggling with a bit of understeer, but it very quickly becomes oversteer, just having to come off the throttle a bit there as we go through the chicane. Struggling a bit with my visor steaming up as well, which is bizarre, it's not even raining. Had to get a new one. Over into Tower, struggling to get up the gearbox again. No attack from Ryan just yet, he's just far enough back that I can afford to maintain that racing line, but for how much longer, who knows. No slippery surface flags here anymore, so we're going to just commit. Full throttle all the way through. And this time we've gotten away with it without getting launched off the track. Into Croft here, really struggling, just having to be quite tentative. Sunny in, car rotating all the way through. Sunny out, again pushing as hard as I can here. Need to get myself a rearwards facing camera just so you can see how close Ryan was for the duration of this quite intense battle. So through the complex once more. And into the hairpin, trying to find that braking point and get a really good exit just to leave us not too vulnerable down the front straight here. So Ryan ever present in my mirrors, but not close enough yet for me to have to go defensive into turn 1. Find that braking point, trying to get the car turned in. Nice entry speed using all that track on the left into this long cascading right hander, just trying to find the balance of the car, short shifting up. And then another short shift just before the 2 curbs there. Riding out as late as we can. Car starting to break away from us ever so slightly. As we approach Tower once more over the crest. Trying to get that braking done. The back end just slipping away from me there. But back on the power, finding the apex. Bit of over rotation on the exit. It's a little bit scruffy. But we are under a lot of pressure here. Into the first of the S's. Nice and clean. And into Croft with Ryan hot on my heels, and the back end is just untamable at this stage. I'm not sure what changed between race 1 and race 2, but the rear end of the car was really overactive and into Barcroft, almost impossible to carry speed in there like I'd want to. But trying to keep it clean through the complex here and into the hairpin, where I know I'm going to be extremely vulnerable to a move from Ryan, as we see here, having to carry it wide as he just gets a little look up the inside, checking my left hand side. Where is he? He's beside me, so we're going to squeeze him as close as we can to the wall just to maximise my racing line. He's just a bit ahead into the first corner, but I'm not braking until he brakes. And in we go, maintaining that lead, but the fight is on. I'm under real pressure here. I know that he's not going to be letting up as I start to lose more and more rear grip. And this time going into tower, there's no way I'm going to be able to take that wide line. So defensive we go, over the crest, back end braking away again as the car gets unweighted. On the power, just skating out to the outside and towards the S's. Hopefully no dramas this time. No wheels on the dirt on the way in. And into Barcroft, where I now know that I'm in big trouble into Barcroft. This is a corner where I cannot get the car to settle down. So just taking that slightly defensive line there. I've learnt my lesson from race 1. If Ryan sees a gap there, he's coming through. But we've got our tyres on the dirt on the exit there, and very lucky not to get a puncture or to peel the alloy, as that curb is savage on the left. Into the complex, just trying to keep it tidy, but you see, really struggling with the rear grip. The car just not playing ball with me. A little bit oversteer there through the hairpin. But back on the power, where's Ryan? Checking those mirrors. Seeing where he's put his car. I think we're clear for this lap. We're going to find our braking point. Try not to clobber the cones on the left there. Good entry speed again. And just eyes up. Trying to get through this chicane as clean as we can. Again, somewhere where I'm struggling a bit, especially on that right-hander into the chicane. Really struggling to get balance through there. Car's understeering in, oversteering out. And again, defensive into tower with the Yarrow right behind me. Find that apex on the power, trying to force him the long way round if he's going to do it. But limited grip, and he's got the dirty air to contend with as well. Through the S's, just missed that first apex there, so we're going to have to go nice and tight. Just using a little bit of the rumble strip on the outside. Into Barcroft, and again the car just bucking me around. As soon as I come off the throttle, there's instant oversteer. That's without any brake application at all. And on the power, just braking away from me there as we go into the complex, trying to carry that entry speed in. Nice bit of curb, looking for the apex on the right, see if we can get the car in. Just again rotating, going wide. Now I know I'm going to be vulnerable here, so just taking that spot in the middle of the track. It's going to compromise the exit quite substantially. The fight is well and truly on for this 20-minute sprint race. Keeping it as defensive as I dare. Where is Ryan? I can see he's not actually got quite alongside me yet as he was last time. So we'll hold the inside line. A little bit of curb on the inside. Want to avoid that. Effectively ended Ryan's race the last time round, hitting that too hard. As we go through the chicane. Clip that curb on the right, on the left, staying full throttle, car braking away on the exit, but keeping it mostly clean. Down towards tower again, over the crest. Can we get the braking point right? With Ryan on the left, car slipping away from me, fighting it in all the way through on the power. And at this stage, I'm holding on for dear life, but I feel like I've got it under control. A really difficult track to pass on. And if you cover off sort of those key overtaking points, it really does take a mistake. Look at that, just like that, for someone to get past you. So, although I'm fighting, I feel like I can probably keep Ryan behind me as long as I don't make any silly mistakes. But unfortunately, as we've seen, there have been some mistakes, and the car is, see that, just fighting me everywhere, every corner. Really limited on that rear end grip. So, into the hairpin. Where's Ryan? Going to take that wider line. Again, a little bit compromised. You can hear his engine as he gets nice and close. So powering away down the straight once more. Pit board to the left. Ryan creeping ahead. But same story as before. I'm not braking till he brakes. It's the only way. So through this frustrating right-hander, taking an early gear, trying not to let the car break away, but it's just bucking me through over the curbs. And once more having to defend. At this point in the race, my brain was at full capacity. Just trying my absolute best to keep Ryan behind me. Taking that defensive line into tower once more. Good apex on the power, but the car breaking away again. Just checking the left-hand mirror here. Make sure he's not got a good exit. But we are clear. Don't want to be going side by side through here. Bit of debris in the middle of the track now. It's just gone a little bit wide. And into Barcroft again. The car just fighting all the way in. Rotating into Sunny in. On the power as early as I can, but the car bucking me around. Through Sunny out into the complex once more. Looking for that braking spot. Nice bit of camber on this corner, so we can roll in with quite a lot of speed. Car rotates, but nice and tidy. Trying to find that apex. Can we get through that over rotation? We can. Nice and clean. Taking that slightly defensive line. Don't want to open the door too much, but I know it's going to compromise my exit. But it's okay. The inside line here makes it extremely difficult to pass on the outside, so we'll hold what we've got. Check my mirror. I can see Ryan's not actually beside me this time, so back to the racing line. A little bit of over rotation on the way in, but it's all okay. Trying to get the car tucked in here. Bit of over rotation. Trying to take that early gear through the chicane, back on the power. Car barking me over to the right hand side as per usual. Checking that mirror. Where's Ryan? Of course he is right behind me. So again, taking that defensive line. I can see he's on the left of me this time, so we don't go quite as tight as before. Try and get some kind of drive out onto the S's. Really struggling to get up the box there. So Ryan's going to be right behind me. So I know now that into Sunny in, I'm going to be in real danger. So we can take that defensive line through Barcroft. And we are clear this time round. Getting that camber. Running a little bit wide. Having to come out of the throttle actually this time. But then on the power, the car's oversteering again. Really struggling with the balance. The alignment as well. You can see the wheel is caught perfectly straight as we go into the complex. A little bit of traffic up ahead now. Cup 200 car. Now the traffic, it either works for you or it works against you. You have to find a way to get through as clean as you can. You want to maintain your position and also not interfere with their race too much as well. These 200 cars obviously in a completely different class. So into turn 1 here, quite a big gap to the Cup 200 car, but as we get on the brakes here, the closing speed is much more than I was anticipating, and it just catches me out. Blue flags there, but I've gone wide. I've lost all my speed into the right hander, and as you'll see here, it's just up the inside. You cannot go too wide there, and it's completely compromised my exit. So a little bit of misfortune there, and poor planning on my part. I've not reacted as good as I could have to the traffic, and that is the one chance that Ryan needed, and he is through. So I've got no option now but to just get my head down, see if I can find some level of pace. But I've really been struggling so far in race 2, and whether I'll be able to hunt him down the same way I did in race 1, it's not looking likely at this stage. As we go through into Barcroft, into Sunny in, plenty of traffic, car over rotating on the way in again, and just working our way around. Just plenty of rotation, not even getting close to the edge of the track there. Really struggling to find that confidence now. Let's see, wide again. Just a really scruffy lap all in all. I've lost the position. Probably a little bit rattled, a bit frustrated. Just trying to find some pace in the car, but really struggling. Not too much of a bad line through there. On the power, Ryan's starting to build a little bit of a gap already as we work our way through for another lap. See what we can do. Traffic works for us, it works against us. You never know, maybe Ryan's going to catch some traffic himself. So let's try and keep it as clean as we can. See what we can do. But as you see, a bit of rotation there. Compromised our line slightly, but all doable as we bounce over the curbs. And down the back straight into tower once more. Only doing 125 so far up until this point, but obviously with the very heavy defence. See what kind of lap times we can get now that we're in clean air. We're not defending, we can just get our head down and try and push forwards. Also wary of pressure from behind, There's always going to be some cars close by looking to capitalise on any mistakes, so we want to keep the pace strong. Just fighting the car all the way in. One hand off the wheel doing the gears, counter steering, trying not to dip it off the track, and trying to chase Ryan and keep him honest. Again, just missed the apex there for the second time in a row, missed the camber, and once you miss it, you really do struggle to get in. Missed the apex on that one as well. Can we make it 3 out of 3 and miss the apex for the hairpin? No, we've done alright, we've got the apex, so only 2 missed apexes there, not too bad, eh? So another lap, what lap time have we got this time? 24.69, so it's respectable, it's not as quick as we'd like, but it's reasonable pace, probably a couple of tenths shy of where Ryan's at. So we're going to try and keep it clean, try and get some consistency. If we can maintain this pace, there's always a chance, you know, the same way that I caught traffic and made a mistake, the same can happen to Ryan, so we need to stay close to try and capitalise. But as we can see here, he's finding some good gaps, and he's just passing traffic in quite convenient places. He's got the move done before the S's, strong blue flags on the left there, and unfortunately we're going to catch just going into the S's, which hasn't compromised us too much, but not the ideal line on the way in. Into Croft. Bit of over rotation once again, trying to just find that commitment into Sunny in. Not quite the perfect line on the power, but the back end breaking away the second you touch the throttle there. Into the complex. Still got Ryan where I can see him. Bit of over rotation, but we've not missed the apex that time. Can we get it in? Yeah, we can get it into this one. Once more towards the hairpin. On the brakes. Ryan actually going quite wide there. Not the ideal line, but then there's me drifting it out the last corner, losing tenths. It's not ideal. 24.76. So consistent lap times, but consistently not quick enough, unfortunately for me. Into the first corner, bit of rotation on the way and just clipping that curb on the inside, round to the outside. Trying to get on the power as early as I can. The car bucking away. A little bit of mid-corner understeer, but then the oversteer as we get to the exit, clipping both those curbs on the way out, down the back straight. More traffic just ahead of Ryan here. As we go over the crest on the brakes, can we find our braking point? Car just sliding around underneath us. Lost a lot of entry speed there on the power. Out to the edge of the track, into the S's once more. And this is, you know, this was a really demanding race for me. First the first 2 laps of defending, and now just, you know, qualifying lap after qualifying lap, essentially just trying to close that gap if I can. Rotating on the way into Sunny in, into Sunny out on the power again. The car just skating to the exit, as again Ryan just catches that traffic before the complex here. Bit of rotation on the way in. Look for that apex. We'll see if the middle up ahead will be kind to us, as we've actually probably closed the gap just a tiny bit here on the power. A good exit, and as we tuck in behind the middle here, we'll see the blue flags on the left. Try and take that racing line. Not sure where he's at. He's parked in the middle. I've had to force the issue here. Hit that curb on the right. Quite frustrating, you know. I know it's tough when you've got blue flags, especially if you're running your own race. But definitely not ideal for me there. It really cost me some time. Which is, you know, every tenth counts when you're pushing this hard. So bit of unfortunate luck there. Back into tower, back into the struggle. Barely slowing down, and now with the rear tyres are really starting to go. So struggling to slow the car down, and then struggling to get out of the corners as well. So all round, just having a little bit of a hard time with this race too in the conditions. But Ryan's still there. Never say never. You never know what can happen. So we're going to keep working, but we are struggling now. And it's becoming a bit of a painful experience. Into the complex. Just a bit too much rotation. See if we can get that apex on the right hand side. Just again, over rotating. Really, really struggling to get on the power. Even in low revs, you know, the rear tyres don't want to know. So trying to keep the car as straight as possible, square it up. Venting my frustration to the lack of blue, well, not lack of blue flags, but lack of yielding. But like I said before, it's one of those things. It is what it is, you know. We're all out here racing, doing the best we can. sometimes the emotions boil over when you're in the car, but just take a breath once we get out and carry on. Bit of dirt there from Ryan, so by all means he is pushing, he's pushing really hard to break away from me. He's doing a good job as we're both working our way through the traffic here, and I'm just hoping that he gets unfortunate, stuck behind some battling cars or at the S's, but probably hoping in vain at this stage. Again, just missing the debris on the inside. Cup 200 car up ahead on the brakes into Croft. Back end just breaking away. Rotating on the way to Sunny Inn. Maintaining that power. Trying to get on the power on the way out as the 200 squirms on the power. He's going to move over nice and early. And cleanly past. But I've completely missed my apex and the camber of that corner. But it's not so bad. We've got tucked in for this second part. Still got Ryan there. There's still hope. There's always hope. But gone a bit wide, a bit late on the power. As we still, holding those 24s. Or 25-0 on that occasion. Looking for that braking point into turn one. A little bit of closing speed here and then into the dirty air. So we're really going to struggle here. And again, having to squeeze up the inside, back of the car, just breaking away. Compromised my line through the chicane. I've, really lost my speed onto the straight here. Struggling to get up the box as well, unfortunately. And at this stage, you can see that gap to Ryan is just slowly creeping up. And we're running out of time to get anything done here or to put some pressure on. So I imagine he's probably feeling a little bit more relaxed now. He knows I'm quite far back in the mirrors, but I'm still going to keep pushing. Keep that commitment. Got to be in it to win it. Bit cleaner into Croft that time. And into Sunny Inn. Bit of rotation mid-corner. Back on the power. And out we go. Just trying to keep it clean. Trying to bring those rear tyre temps down if we can. Because they are letting go. I've missed the apex there again. Just not quite focused enough. Not hitting those marks. And struggling with the overall balance of the car. Bringing it into the hairpin, back on the power. Cup 200 car up ahead. But that is going to be it. Checkered flag. Little drive-by for me dad and me missus. So second place, a really difficult race that one. First, the first half defending as hard as I could. And then to, make a little mistake and lose out. And then just trying my absolute best to maintain some kind of pressure on Ryan afterwards. But it was in vain in the end. But a good second place, and overall, for our first meeting of the year, we've got a first and a second joint championship lead with Ryan going into round 2 at Silverstone. So a solid foundation to build upon. Hopefully the next round will be just as close and exciting. And I'll also be trying to get the in-car intercom fixed, because the recording quality is abysmal. You can't hear my voice at all. So if possible, I will get that upgraded and hopefully have some slightly better production value for the next one and try and keep it entertaining. Any ideas or suggestions at all, please do let me know. Thank you all for watching. See you on the next one.